What's up, everyone? This is your host and founder, Aileah, back with another episode of I'm Breaking Into Tech. Now, this is an affirmation. I want you all to know that you all can break into tech because I was able to break into tech. And I started this podcast I actually started it by accident. Started it back in 2022, November 2022 to be specific. So we are now at a 2-year mark. I don't know. I don't have any animations. I don't know how to do that. But yeah, we made it to 2 years, and this is going to be, kind of like an emotional episode. I'm trying my best to get myself together. This is a pre-recorded for that very reason, so I had the opportunity to get myself together. But this is our final farewell episode, and I just want to take this time to thank you all for everything that you all have been able to assist me with on my journey. So when I say you all, I mean all of my connections, all of the friends that I've made on LinkedIn, even other platforms as well. But LinkedIn has definitely stole my heart. Um, I started this podcast because I was on the journey to break into the software industry or break into tech myself. After spending so long in human resources and honestly just getting burnt out, I wanted a change. I wanted the opportunity to have a better quality at life. Had a friend who transitioned from being a teacher to being a sales development rep, now as an account manager, account executive, and he was killing the game. So my initial journey, I tried to break in the software industry as a sales engineer, solutions engineer, which is how I met many of you all. I was networking very heavily, and I was able to meet so many people who shared their journey with me or how they was able to scale in their career that I just felt selfish. I felt like it would be selfish of me to not share their stories with you all. So that is literally how this pod came into effect. It wasn't intentional. I wasn't looking to be a influencer or a podcast host or anything like that. But I love seeing people grow, and I'm a true advocate for professional development, career development that is very much on brand with me, HR aside. So I just wanted to give back in that way. I felt like I learned a lot, and I know not everyone is not as blessed to be able to do the things that I was able to do, or as confident to speak to people such as founders, executives, just people that most people hold to a very high esteem. And I was able to do those things, and I wanted to give back and allow you all to hear their stories and hopefully impact your lives as well. But as I mentioned, this is the last episode. This is the final episode of I'm Breaking Into Tech. I am moving on to other projects, personal and professional, and I want you all to just be able to get to know me, get to know Aileah a little bit better outside of tech. Tech is not who I am holistically. I have a lot of different layers of me. I love to dance. I love to travel. I'm very into my faith. I love to talk about career development, yes, but it's just so many different areas of my life that I just want to be able to share with you all so you can get to know me holistically. And I feel like when you break down and share a little bit more about yourself in a personal manner, you don't get tired as often. This project was fun, but it was very, very tiring, and it was sometimes overwhelming because I felt like I had to stay like in a box or silo. So even though I have built this lovely brand and been able to grow with you all, I want to share with you all that, though tech has been a very big part of my life, it is not who I am holistically. And I want you to take this episode as a reminder that you can grow, and you do have the right to change. You do have the right to grow. You do have the right to shed your skin, as I like to call it. Just like a chameleon, you can blend into different environments. You can change your environments, and you're never stuck where you start. Again, I started in HR as a solutions architect. Did not enjoy that experience, and I decided to go back into the project management space as a technical program manager, working at a HR tech startup. And then I got an even better opportunity to join a fairly popular fintech company as a privacy program manager. And I've been rocking with them for, I guess, going on 6 months now. So it's been a great experience. I know you all probably, depending on when you look at this, you may look at my profile and not see the company. That was done intentionally because I feel like I just have a greater sense of peace right now. My last experience taught me a lot, and I just felt like it was best for me to take this time to build professionally, get to know my coworkers, get comfortable with my job, and then if I so chose to share that company with you all at a later time, then I can do that. But this has been a lot more peaceful for me on this journey. So thank you all again. This episode is meant to just, give you all a very highlight reel of what's going on in our lives, and bringing on my co-host KJ and Dom. Back. I think my screen froze. Hopefully not. But they started off as my mentors back in 2022, and they've just been I think that they had a lot to say as well. So that's why I brought them on to be co-hosts. So cannot wait for you all to hear what new things are going on in all of our lives. And without further ado, let me go ahead and bring on the fellas. Hello.
I'm a fella. Did you know that, Dom? Do you know we're fellas?
Have you not heard of
fella before?
Is that country?
Oh, I've definitely. I mean, it's country, but it's not anything. I'm just giving you a hard time.
We're just joking.
Yeah, considering all the stuff that we've gotten to finally hitting record at this point, like me going to take care of my kids.
It's been a struggle. And it has been a struggle. And I don't like recording for that very reason. Because like when you're live, you gotta be live. Recording is I get so nervous. That's why I don't do it no more. You ever notice that? Like so I just prefer the lives. Yeah, that doesn't work out for me.
Because you have to deliver. Yeah, it was like for me.
Yep. Exactly. I feel forced to edit when I have to pre-record as well, and I don't want to do that either. So
you'd rather just let it live in the ether and just do whatever. Yeah, I understand that for sure. And it's interesting too, because like for me, I've never been scared of a red light. I've always been in front of it. I've always performed. So for me,
that's why you guys always get the live, because a part of me is lazy. That's really all it is.
Sure. There you go. Yeah.
I think I froze again, and I'm really
You've been freezing. We can hear you though. You're okay.
You're good.
And this is also why I don't. Okay, this is also why I don't like to pre-record, because Spectrum be hating on me. But anyway, thank you all. Thank you. But thank you guys for joining again. Honestly, y'all, this is the first time in, I want to say, like over 6 months that we've all been on a call together. Like we have been so busy. But again, I just wanted to bring the fellas on, because again, this is our farewell episode as a unit. But everyone still has their individual lives that they're living. But I'm going to open up the floor, because I really want to hear from you fellas. Like, how has this opportunity impacted you, either personally or professionally? And what are you doing right now professionally? And what's in store? You don't have to answer all of that at once, because I know that's going to be long-winded. But let's go ahead and kick it off with Dom.
Yeah, sure. So this podcast has made me make a lot of great connections, especially with you two. I feel like some of the best things that I got out of this were two people that now I can really call good friends, that I can talk about deep things, personal and professional. So I have to say that that's been one of the greatest things about this. Also, just even the interviews and people that I've kind of helped along the way, people that took the advice of, whether it was from the podcast or whether it was one-on-one connections, this whole journey of trying to help people get into tech. I mean, there's been a couple of folks that, have came to me and say, hey, Dom, you helped me interview better, or you helped me get that job. That made this all worth it, is if I could have helped at least one person, make a difference in their life from like a financial standpoint or even a personal growth standpoint. So I would say that was the best thing about this. Personally, from a career standpoint, people have always said, Dom, like, hey, I've seen your podcast online, or I've seen a clip of it, and it's always been a good conversation starter that I've always appreciated. But yeah, I mean, I guess aside from work stuff, I would say probably the biggest change is just learning how to become like a dad and a parent. It's definitely the thing I'm going to be focusing the most on, I would say, over the next. Well, I mean, I'm never going to stop focusing on it. It's always going to be the number one job in my life.
Yeah, you're always a dad, bro.
You're always a dad, but just being able to dedicate more time to my son. He's turning 14 months in a couple of days, and it's just like goes by so fast. But other than that, no, I mean, I'm really grateful for everyone who's listened to what we've had to say.
The joy on your face when you talk about your son, I love that. I love that for you. And I definitely support and respect your decision. Thank you again for everything that you've done. I've conversations with Dom, like I know that is going to make a long-lasting impact. It's still going to be on YouTube. We're keeping that YouTube up, so you guys can have opportunity to go back and watch all of our shows and whatnot. Still reach out to us, but I really liked your show, Dom, because it just felt really authentic, and it wasn't so techie that it wasn't digestible, but it was very. I love the storytelling aspect, and I think you're really good at that, which explains why you are such a great sales engineer. So thank you again for your commitment. I appreciate that so much. What about you, KJ? What's been up?
A lot of the similar stuff like Dom. I'm a dad as well. I've been in the game a little longer than he has. We got 2 under 2 that I was candidly, for lack of a better term, bitching about before we hit record here. 2 under 2 is tough if you're listening to it, but I think that's really been the biggest thing that in my life, that's my number one. Just looking back in my history, and I'm not blaming my dad for this. We have a great relationship now, but he was never around, right? So for me, or he was around, but he wasn't present. Right. So because of that, a lot of what I've done in my life is to make sure that I can be present. So things like this podcast have helped me. When I started, I was at UiPath. In the middle of doing this podcast, I got fired. It wasn't because of the podcast. And then obviously I bounced back, and here I am at Salesforce. Right. And I think being invited to be a podcast host here. Right. And I will be continuing this on my own. I like the exercise of sitting down and having a conversation with someone and editing things. And you're starting to see my LinkedIn stuff get a little bit better because I've had at least 100 of you people reaching out to me being like, I can make your stuff better, but no one's given me anything. So I go, okay, well then maybe I could just do a little bit better so they'll get off my back. Right. So like things like that. But all that, I digress aside. It's been really, really great to have something that I can learn how to communicate more effectively. Because in role, it's been exponentially better. And not for nothing, too, the setup I have like totally throws people for a loop when I get on calls. And I use that to my advantage, right? So if you've never been in these types of situations before and an SE comes on the call, you're expecting probably, one thing, which is some nerd fucking sitting here going to show you some tech, like at the most face value. If you're an SE, you obviously understand. But for the most part, that's what happens. So then when you show up and you see this, it's like, ooh, that's a little bit different, right? Then if you can add some confidence to it, it breaks down that barrier to entry. It's why I've been able to succeed in the sales engineering role. So things like this and compounding on that and using all of my experiences to just build a brand is what I think you've given that to me. So Aileah, as much as, you could end this, thank you. Like without you telling me to come on that webinar after my friend closes on the house and boozing up and whatever, I don't think I'm actually as successful as I am because you've given me an ability to curate what a brand should be and what KJ is. Hence why KJ's Corner will still exist. And I got that trademark, baby, which is awesome. So things like that would have never been possible without you. So as much as, we have to do the work, I thank you for the push and the energy. And I know we're going in different directions, but it doesn't mean that we're obviously not going to be boys. Right. So very similar to Dom in that regard.
Yeah, I appreciate that, KJ. I appreciate that. And I'm happy that it's had such a great impact on you all's career. I've always been like a personal brand even before LinkedIn. So I don't really feel like it made a huge difference for me.
Dude, you built a huge brand and then purged it. Like, did you have like 10,000 connections or some shit? Like, weren't you like queen shit for like a while? Like, I remember that. Like, that was a thing.
Because okay, so I mean, LinkedIn. I really like LinkedIn. I'm gonna tell you, LinkedIn is where you can make money. That's where I made money. Okay, so I will be
I mean,
I'll
I'm
be
making money in
100%
my
committed.
career. I mean, I know I'm not doing it on the side, but like it's
You're,
definitely true.
you're
Like,
KJ's Corner. We can still talk. KJ's Corner has the potential to do a lot of great things. But anyway,
it does, and
I
and
digress.
yes, once that
The whole thing I wanted to bring up is that the podcast definitely has helped me make grand connections. And that's something that I truly enjoy. I love the ability to be able to just pick up the phone and like, oh yeah, I know this person who's a founder, and I can call them and ask them this question, or I have a question about this job offer that I have. Let me hit up this person, or da da da. Like I love having that flexibility, but I also love the intimacy of the friendships that I've created, like with you and Dom. Even Tamara, she's been super busy as well, like we all are living our lives, but being able to just pop back in and reconnect with some of those core people, like Frankie, so many different people that I've met on this journey and become pretty close to. I do attest to this platform, right? Because had I not put myself out there in the way that I did, I probably wouldn't have attracted some of these people as well. Like, of course, I reached out to you all, but being able to build my brand the way that I have, and just bringing friends to myself, or just people, just supporters, if you will. That's been very impactful for me personally, not even just professionally, but personally. And it's made me appreciate my authenticity a lot more, because I told you guys this all the time. Like, I don't like being considered an influencer. I didn't really intentionally want to be a podcaster or anything like that. And that's something that I've always had a problem with, people who don't show up authentically, that are doing those things. So I never wanted to fall into that box. But I've been, my authenticity has been embraced by a lot of my viewers and followers and whatnot. So it made me want to again take a step back, like I shared with you all earlier, and just go in the direction that God is ultimately leading me into, which is sharing more about who I am holistically. Because you just don't get tired of talking about the things that you truly love. And tech is a stepping stone, and it's been a stepping stone for me. And I feel like it's a stepping stone for a lot of people, but it's not really my life. It was a vehicle to help me get to the places in life that I wanted to. So I want this podcast to still live on the platform, so people can still learn from it. But I've reached my goal. I broke into tech. I'm here. We've shared
we
a
all
whole
did it,
lot
man. That was it.
whole lot of value. Not only that have I broken in, but I've gotten, I would say, my dream job, if you will, out of it, and with a bomb company. Only sucky part, kinda, hopefully they don't hear this, is that I'm hybrid, but I mean the office is awesome. Look at the dog, he's so cute. But yeah, other than that, life has been pretty challenging for the past year. I've had a lot of lows, so many lows. But I'm just very, very thankful that I'm on the upward trajectory right now. And I realized that we were all kind of shifting and slowly drifting apart. Not because we don't appreciate each other, and we don't appreciate what the platform has offered us, but just life.
Life happens.
So I wanted to be respectful and not try to pull and tug at something that just needed to disperse. So again, thank you, fellas. Thank you so much. And I wish you all like the best on your individual journeys. Of course, Dom, you're already a great dad, and you're gonna continue to be a great dad. You're already a great SC, and you're gonna continue to be a great SC. Same with KJ. Dogs never know what they want to do. Never.
Like, I'm sitting here, like, I don't know if you're gonna listen to the audio version, but like he like literally paused at the door to go out, and I let him out, and then I go back in and do it. Like, whatever.
It's all good. But yeah, so, I mean that's pretty much it. But just wanted to open up the floor, you guys. I know I said I didn't want this to be super long, but if there's anything you want to talk about in particular, this is the opportunity for us to just do so. But other than that, thank you all for just rocking with us.
I just want to say thank you, Aileah. Like I said, this would have never happened if you never reached out to us. And again, it just feels surreal that we've been talking to each other for so long. Like, I still have never met either of you in person.
Never
but
met in person. Just have him. I met
KJ
Aileah
and
in
I
person.
just met last month.
Yeah, and like
Yeah,
literally,
yeah.
and for everyone on the thing, just a side note, I'll let you finish down. But like literally, when I met Aileah, she has tall person energy, y'all. I swear, like I thought just yeah, dude, she carries herself so fucking strong. And I was like, wow, okay, that's why your success comes in. And then, she watched me bowl like, I don't know, lights out. It's whatever. Anyway.
Yeah,
But yeah, one time.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
I'm not tall. That's why he says I have tall person energy, but I'm not tall.
She's not tall. Because I'm not tall either. I'm 5'8", maybe 5'8". I'm probably like 5'7". I don't know. The doctors always tell me 5'8".
He's still taller than me. I technically I think I'm like 5'5". I think 5'4", 5'5", but whatever.
You're a little taller than my wife, so anyway, sorry, Dom.
No, I was just gonna say I feel like the memories, the people we've met here, I feel like if the three of us got into a room, it would just, I've known you guys for so long, it would just feel natural.
Yeah, we can run
Dom,
this back whenever.
We're gonna be looking up at Dom because he's tall. Yeah.
I'm just saying, both you were in North Carolina, but you both work for companies that are in my backyard. You gotta come out.
I know, for real. Well,
there.
well, that's what's gonna happen. They got a damn tower in Chicago, so they're gonna be like, well, it's cheaper to send them to Chicago than it is to send them to Sanford, unless I'm like part of like. But that's what's happening work-wise. Maybe
you'll be at Dreamforce.
Oh, I have to go to Dreamforce next year, my guy. Yes. Of course. Even if I don't even have a booth, I'm getting a ticket anyway. I'm like, I'm going. I'm just showing up. I'll be like, someone just give me the employee badge. Come on.
Super Bowl of tech conferences.
Oh, dude, that's been the interesting thing too. Just like side note, I didn't realize how deep in the freaking like tech game like Salesforce actually was until like every single person and their mother was talking about Dreamforce, good or bad, and I went, sick.
That I can't remember what company it was that was boycotting it at Dreamforce, but I thought that was hilarious. What company was that?
Oh, I saw that shit on LinkedIn. I was like, that's funny. I really like it. Wasn't like a HubSpot or something. Like it was, I don't know.
Always do that. Yeah. The competitors will come in and they'll have some like weird stuff like that. Like,
yeah, but you know what though? Like simming into other stuff that I do, because I'm a wrestling fan, and like literally, dude, who did that? I remember literally WWE did that shit, right? To like DX went to like a WCW show, and like they televised that stuff, right? And like it's really fun because at the end of the day, like, look, we know that CRM is gonna be king shit, right? Like we know that's gonna happen. I don't think anyone's gonna deny that, right? But that does give credence to all the other players in the space, which I think is great. I love that because competition is always going to make products better, right? When you have one monopoly running everything, nothing ever works. So when I see that stuff, I love it. I think that's fantastic because one, we can do it. And two, we're like, okay, cool. And then who knows if they get some press on it because maybe that person's not a Salesforce customer before, right? There you go. Sometimes it can be cost prohibitive for a smaller company. Let them tackle the mid market. That's a big deal.
Am I frozen?
Whole realm to play with, man. But I didn't realize how big Dreamforce actually was until like this year. And I went, oh, okay.
I remember pre-pandemic. It was wild.
I'm sure, man.
Anyway.
But you guys, I know I was freezing a while, so I was just trying to smile awkwardly just in case it froze on my face. But yeah, you guys made a big impact, so that's why I wanted to bring you all on. I think you all are natural mentors, and then also I knew you guys would get along, which I feel like that's my superpower, is obviously bringing people together. Hence why this even did as well as it did. But I love that. I love to know that it has made such a big impact on you all. That makes me happy always, and I'm so happy that we all work for like really cool companies. So God forbid anything happens, I'm coming over there with y'all.
Look, here's what I can do. All right. At Salesforce, here's the best I got. I can get you a referral. I can find the job. I can attach your resume, and I can put a nice note next to your referral. That's about the amount of stroke that I got at this company. I'm being honest with you.
I can do the same thing, but
they do that, right?
They got me for a while. Unless somebody buys out this sign-on bonus, they got me for a while. So
yeah. And I guess on that front, in terms of like referrals, if you are listening to this because you were part of the community and you did appreciate us, like I think the best thing that I learned from this was don't be afraid to reach out to people with intent. You know what I mean? Like be intentional. And it can be as simple as, hey, I think you'd be helpful in this specific thing. Would you be willing to take time and talk to me? Because guess what? That's what Aileah did with me. And now here we are, right? Like, and I think that's been the biggest thing that like I learned was like when I got hosts for like or when I got guests for my show, right? It was literally, hey, I like your content. I think it's cool. Interacted with it a little bit. I think you'd be awesome to chat with. Are you down? It's literally all it was. I didn't have any fluff, no whatever. Some people were like, we'll talk about it later. And some people that now, if I reach out to them, they'd probably be like, oh shit, like, okay. But at the time, and I was like, okay, cool. And I'm like, oh, I'm an SDR now.
Clout.
Great. Like, but that's what I'm saying is like, I learned all of these things that I eventually applied in my role that I just fundamentally understood everything. But I had a pretty high success rate in terms of like who I reached out to. And I attribute that to just being intentional. And that's what I think that would be the advice that I would give anyone, regardless whether it's in tech or not. Like, if you want something, you have to be intentional to get it. And I think the reality is sometimes it's not for you. And if it's not, readjust, right? And this taught me that, right? We're even going through it right now. You achieved your mark. We want to move on. Right. Guess what? I love talking to people randomly and going through this exercise. So now KJ's Corner is going to be exactly that. KJ's Corner. It's not going to be tech related. I'm probably going to make the spin because I'm in fucking sales. But like at the end of the day, it's just going to be me talking to whoever. I'm literally contemplating 1 year. All I'm doing is just ripping through like all of my acapella buddies for like a year. Because eventually what I like in this too is like for me, like when I think about where I'm going to take this is just more like I want something that my kids can watch. To be like, that's what dad did. Right. And then they can start, compounding on that. It's I don't take that too seriously. But yeah, like it just because everyone's always like monetize. And I'm like, dude, I like just making some shorts and pushing shit out a month. But if I've got 200 episodes by the next 10 years, I can go to a company and say, look, I can do this. What do you mean? I edited and produced all of these. Oh, and I was the host, right? Like that for me is because my intention long term is I think I can be a keynote speaker. I think I could be a life coach. I think I could do these things, and I need to be practicing over and over again, right? But I'm also not going to sacrifice a job that I have at Salesforce that pays me buku fucking dollars because I've earned it, right? So like I have to be very strategic with my time, and that's why I'm doing it very, very informally as well. So that's what I'm saying. Be intentional with your time. To anyone listening to this, I think that's the number one thing I think I've learned through this experience, because I don't spend a ton of time on it a month, maybe 4 to 5 hours. I got really good at it, but that's to me, that's not a ton of extra time. I'm spending that scrolling through my phone. You know what I mean? Like I just have to repurpose the time. So anyway, I digress. I just want to go on that and just like say like that's where I'm really planning on taking this, and I hope others can do the same in anything, any domain. Doesn't have to be a podcast. Not everyone should have a podcast. I actually think a lot of people who have podcasts fucking shouldn't have them because they suck. Okay. Like I'm just being real. Okay. Like I only do it for my own vanity and the proof that I can do it. Right. And that's my intention. And that's why a lot of people in my DMs get disappointed that I don't want to pay them to do dirty work. But yeah, if you're listening to this and you hear that, thank you. Get out of my fucking DMs. I'm not going to give you my business. At least not now. You can't sell an SE. Come on, yeah, right. You ever had that? Dom, you ever been trying to get sold to? Dude, it's horrible. It's horrible, man. Because I'm just ripping these people to shreds. It's so bad. And then, of course, I'm being an asshole and a bad buyer that I would always complain about behind closed doors. But I'm like, you didn't give me any value. You just said you can do the same thing that 20 other people said. Come on. Like, give me something. Now I'm just ranting. Now I'm just riffing. Can you tell?
I love that advice that you gave, though. I love that advice that you gave about just being intentional. And if you all want to know exactly what I said, I'm pretty sure KJ could probably pull up the message. He does it all the time. But most of the time when I reach out to people, I ask them if they mind sharing their journey. Same as KJ said. Like I reach out to them, but before I reach out to them, I actually research them and see if they're worth reaching out to. Like do we have anything in common? If we don't have anything in common in particular, is there something that's interesting about their journey that I would like to mimic or emulate? And bring that out to them. People love talking about themselves. That's number one. Like,
hello.
Yeah, exactly. People love talking about themselves. So give them an opportunity to talk about themselves. And the more you allow people to talk, I don't know what that sound is, but somebody mute for me. Yeah, mute. I appreciate you.
It was down.
But yeah, the more you allow people to talk about themselves, the more you're going to learn probably what you didn't even know that you wanted to learn in the first place. Like you learn more than what you intended on. So I literally just reached out to people and said that, hey, I see, XYZ, I really like this about your background or your journey or your content. I'm in the space myself, or I'm navigating to that space. And I would just love to learn a little bit more about your journey specifically and how you got to where you got to. And that's pretty much all it is. I don't ask for a coffee chat. I don't ask for a Zoom chat or anything like that. I let them decide if they want to reply, number one. And if they replied, then they will tell me how they want to reply, how they want to engage. They'll either send a book like KJ did, like he sent a book, but I read it and I enjoyed it.
Well, you
And
had me when my child was a potato, right? Like
exactly.
And Dom remembers.
I got real lucky
first
with
few
him.
months, Dom, where he wasn't moving around at all. Yeah, that's when Aaliyah messaged me. We were watching Game of Thrones.
I messaged him when he was on paternity leave, so I scored big with that one.
You scored big,
but there's been other people that just been like, hey, yeah, sure, like, here's my number. Give me a call at such and such time, or here's my Calendly, or let's hop on Zoom. And these are people that are executives, directors, hiring managers. Some people
I'm
are founders.
shocked how easy that is. It's so easy sometimes. To
people complicate stuff. People complicate stuff, and it's not that complicated.
Like I've had that happen so much. It's like,
if you don't put yourself out there, no one's just gonna come to you. You got to make them
right.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm not even a sales engineer. And I can sell very, very well. And I've already proved that.
Well, you're a relationship manager. You've always been. That's why you can do it.
Essentially, yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But I even picked
That's
up
why I'm shocked you're not in sales, to be honest with you.
I still think longer term, you could be like an amazing enterprise.
I still can't believe it. It's just
make amazing,
it's so ingrained in you. But here's
but
what I know though. I know what your earning potential is, and I know how secure that is for you, especially with the situation. So get the bag. Look, do what you got to do. But I'm saying, sales to me, I'm just shocked you hadn't fallen into it. I would have thought that would have been.
I enjoy what I do. I'll say I enjoy what I do. I like the security. Absolutely. This field is very lucrative. I'm compensated very well for what I do.
Then why change?
Exactly. But I do still love that I had that skill, right? And even over the summer, I picked up a short gig in sales, and I was killing it. I just picked up a short gig because I needed extra income. I was working for that startup, and I was the money wasn't money in the way that the money needed money. So I was like, I know I can sell. I'm going to just pick up this gig. And when I tell you, my commissions were crazy, weekly. I was I'm really, really good at this. But once I got this offer, I was like, I just put that on the back burner. But I know for a fact that I can sell. I would be a kick-ass AE if I wanted to be that.
But to the point you're making is, I think this is the whole point of truly understanding oneself. If you really, really want it, because you're not extroverted, right? Sales is totally an extrovert's dream, right? So. But if you can apply those skills in that context, any way that you can, and that's why you see all the SE advice is for the most part, be technical, but it's hey, learn how to sell yourself, which I think is valid, right? Those skills are important because, right, to excel in other things. And I think that's where it's I see some people they try to shift careers entirely. It's no, take all the shit you did before, compound on it, because it's only going to make you better. So as you bring that up, of course you're killing it in your role because you know how to sell yourself and you're probably good at it, right? So both can be true. And I think that's usually where success lies. Yeah.
And that's a good point too. That's a really good point, KJ. You don't have to be good at just one thing. You can be multidimensional. And I think that's what a lot of people fail to realize. And they feel like it's a crime and you're all over the place when you have so many different things that you're good at. You just got to find which one comes easy and is comfortable for you. And that's literally why I said I'm ready to take this, put this podcast to bed and then start something anew, but just focusing on things that I love to talk about holistically, naturally, right? This is just one aspect of my life. This isn't my entire life. And like I said before, it's a vehicle. And for many people, it's that same thing. And it provides a lifestyle, and it can provide the lifestyle or support the lifestyle that you want. But me, I'm entrepreneurial. And I love to travel. So many other things that require money and flexibility that just so happen to all be available in the software industry. So that's truthfully why I wanted to make this transition and to have like a better overall quality of life and be able to focus on the things that are most important to me. And I think a lot of people truthfully have that same goal in mind. They just want to play the funk like they are so passionate about tech, and they're really not. So
Also, if you're listening to this, don't lie about what the fuck you're doing. We can see through it. Stop lying. Don't advertise you're doing run roll when it's not. We can see through it. It's not helping you. It's not helping you long term, at least. Might get you short term, might get you in the gig, but then you gotta deliver. So that was a big thing that I saw, because people were asking me about that, like internally, like, hey, like you've been mentoring a little bit, right? And this is like, so what's up with these people like lying about that? I was like, that's a whole other
you said that what now?
So like, how like people on their titles, they'll put like all the bullshit in there, and then like they'll be like, oh yeah, like I'm a solutions engineer, I'm doing this, blah blah blah, and they took like a course. It's like, come on, you can't be doing that shit. You can't be doing that shit. It's not a good look, man. It's not a good look. Like I get it, and I get the game, but like when those same individuals are trying to shoot for the big leagues, we know, it's very easy to tell. Your experience.
What are you talking about? Are you talking about the headlines?
Headlines, commentary on posts, all this. Like, if you're going to be putting yourself out there, you have to be able to back it up. So if you're going to speak like an expert, you better be one.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right? Like that's what I'm talking about, right? Like people about lying on their headlines and stuff like that. Like, and that's something I learned too. I would have never even paid attention to that without you, right? And now I'm looking at it being like, okay.
Now there's a caveat to that. There's a caveat to that. You can become the expert before you get the role. So
yes,
in full transparency, if you're looking for a role and you are doing the work on the back end, if you are studying, if you are applying those skills in your current job or a project that you are self-directing or whatever, you can still say I'm a sales engineer, because that's what recruiters are looking for. They're not looking for I'm an aspiring sales engineer or I'm aspiring project
right. Yeah,
manager.
you can't say yeah, I'm not saying be blatant and say aspiring. Yeah,
exactly. But at the same time, to his point, make sure that you're still doing the work. Like my favorite way to learn things is by teaching. That's why my pod did what it did, and why my brand did what it did, is because I like to teach. It really has nothing to do with like, oh, I'm trying to whatever. I'm trying to give you all of this information. It's just I retain information better by teaching it. And if I teach it, I know it. And then a lot of hiring managers just so happen to like to see people talk about things that are important to the job that they want to hire for. Because the whole purpose of people hiring you is to solve a problem. So if you're already telling people like, this is how you do what you do, or this is XYZ on this career networking platforms such as LinkedIn, you have a better chance of being taken serious, even if you're not already in that role, which is why at the time I got so many job offers and I wasn't even a sales engineer. Yeah,
you were different though, because you were an SE without being one, because just what you said, you had a portfolio of work that you could speak to that proved that you could do it. You can't speak in absolutes on a post and expect us to believe you. It doesn't work that way. You did that, and then guess what? You had shit to back it up. You got offers. You actually got a job. You actually got a job pretty easily, but that's a testament to you. Yeah, so I'm giving you the credit. That's what I mean. No, and here's the thing, and that's the biggest thing that I think I learned throughout this whole process is that advice given is not always advice received. You can sit there and put it out as much as you want. You can sit there and let people know, but eventually people got to do the work. They got to do the work, and doing the work means doing the role before you have it. But you can't speak in absolutes like you got it, because we will know. And then when we test you on it, you're back to square one, right? So like and breaking into tech is difficult. You know that. Like you're going to break into a cyberspace. You know what you got to do? You got to fucking study that shit. You have to sit there and know DDoS attacks. You have to sit there and know the implications of that. You have to sit there and know the downstream, upstream effects. Oh, can you tell I've done this shit for a while? Yeah, because I was a fucking IT trained guy from college. You know what I mean? Like I've been doing the work. So like it's just different. Like, and I see that stuff. It's more pervasive now than I think it's been, because I think people are waffling, which is fine. But like I said, man, be intentional. Be intentional with it. Build your body of work and don't lie, because the people that matter will see through it. That's the biggest thing.
I agree. Well, as always, I love for us to leave true advice, actionable advice as to how people can break into the software industry. And we're still going to leave you all with that. I didn't want this to be like super long, because again, this is a recording, not a live, but I just wanted you all to just be able to hear from us, like what we're doing now, what we got planned next. As Dom mentioned, he's on daddy duty, and that is a job in itself. I'm not a parent, but I know that is a job in itself. KJ is a dad and husband times 2, so it's been a lot. And then also just being
I
in
have
your
2
career.
wives. Sick, bro. That's awesome.
No, KJ, you don't want.
No, I do not. I do not have 2 wives. But I don't live in Utah. I don't have that. We're good.
I cannot with him. But in any event, we all started roles, not too far apart from each other, like new roles. So it's been a lot of new transitions for everyone.
Yeah, I hit my year this month.
Congratulations. And happy belated birthday to you too.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, 31 hurts, but you guys were like, "Oh, he's a child." So you know what? I'm past 30. At this point, it all sucks. It's downhill.
It's
What was my
okay.
start date? I'm actually in work day. I can tell you.
Let's see. I'll be 30. I'll be 33 in literally 2 weeks. So it's okay. 31 doesn't hurt as much as 32. But I'm sure it just gets more achy.
It's just gonna get
along.
worse and worse. Yeah, it will be next Wednesday. My bowling night will be my 1-year anniversary.
Dom, did you start like your new role shortly after him?
Yeah, mine's on the 27th. So
yeah,
right near Thanksgiving, after Thanksgiving last year. Yeah.
Okay.
So it goes by fast.
Let me also say this really quick, you guys. Like the job market right now, like 2023 was hell on the stick. I'm not even gonna hold you.
Oh my god,
it was really bad.
I felt so bad for people.
But this year, though, 2024, like towards the end of 2024, I feel like even going into the new year, even though we're experiencing a new election, we don't know what's to come. Companies are hiring again, but you have to be willing to go into the office sometimes. Like it's really just that. Like you cannot not go into the office now. Like,
especially if you're transitioning. If you're transitioning, you got to be willing to do it. Yeah.
Yes,
be flexible about remote work and knowing that's not the norm anymore. And I think
it's not the norm.
Yeah, some of us are grandfathered in, unfortunately. Like we get lucky.
It's not the norm unless again you are grandfathered in or you're in a role that it can be performed
that allows for
remote.
It.
Like like the software engineers, like y'all are straight. Like y'all are always going to be great.
Oh, I don't need it. I need to be near an airport. Yeah, like.
Yeah, so I mean, so just keep that in mind. Don't be so stuck in your ways that you don't want to go in. I drive an hour and a half to my office, but
fuck that.
I also take the train sometimes. I mean, it's a
that's why you're just a nice office. Than me. I just wake up and roll down here, like
it's a nice office. It's a nice office. So, but I mean, I will relocate eventually, of course, like once I get certain things underway. But those are that's just an example of a sacrifice that you sometimes have to make if you want to get with what you have. Like it's a compromise. It's a compromise. If I didn't take the opportunity, I probably wouldn't have as much confidence in my future and or flexibility moving forward. Also, like, you just have to sacrifice certain things. So keep that in mind.
True.
Also, get off LinkedIn. Stop complaining on LinkedIn. Like I never thought that was a good idea, but stop complaining on LinkedIn about like the job market. It might not be great because of how you are going about it. Like people really do look at your profile and they're evaluating your personality, attitude. They're evaluating your personality, your attitude, so many different things, and just your knowledge about your role in your industry. So like I said earlier, feel free to teach what you're learning, so to show that you are becoming an expert, even though you don't have that role already. Be intentional, as KJ said, and I'm gonna let Dom give some more advice on his end.
Yeah, I would say to that point, just like more advice that I would recommend is be flexible around opportunities. Like we're saying, the COVID remote work thing, I don't think it's going to be the future. I'm even seeing it here in the Bay Area where, you're looking at jobs, they want people in the office at least 3 days a week. But I think with that, be open. I know it's not easy to say it, but like be open to relocating sometimes for it, if it makes sense for you, right? Like if there's something that you want to do, like, and you see an opportunity in a city that you never thought you would see yourself in, like if you want to break into the industry, like You got to go where the opportunities are.
Yeah. And then earn the right to speak in absolutes like we do. Right.
Yeah.
Like where I'm not speaking from a level of, like entry. We're past that. Right. I can call my shots because I've earned it for the past 6 years. Right. It's harder to do when you're breaking in. So, and I had to move. I didn't get to choose where I was. They sent me to Charlotte at my first gig. I had no leg to stand on at that point. Right. It wasn't until I worked in roles that I could be remote and just be near an airport. They were willing to make that sacrifice. But even then I had to put in the work. So I agree with you, Dom. You have to be willing to, if you're really, really gonna dig deep and make a move and you get the gig. I think moving makes sense. Aileah, you're dealing with that right now in some respects.
I'm dealing with it right now, man. Like it's not easy, but like he said, do what makes sense for you. And also I will add to that, because of the market and you're not too sure, continue to interview. Like, please, continue to interview.
I do that now.
Always
I've had interviews.
Yeah, like I mean, it's not to say that you're going to leave the
taken them.
Right?
Obviously, I haven't done much with them because they don't want to pay me enough. But like, I still have the combo to see like what they're looking for. And then when they reach out to me, they go, "Oh, you're really senior." I'm like, "Yeah, right." But I think to your point, like being intentional with your time, that sounds interesting. Let me chat. Let me just hear. Let's see what happens. The companies don't care about you, man. They don't. At the end of the day, they care about making money. I know that. We all know that. You do your best during the time, and if something presents itself that's better, don't burn the bridge while you're on head down. Come on. I learned that lesson very quickly. I thought I was going to be going to the promised land with UiPath, and they said, "Fuck you, KJ, we're done." Right? Like, I've been there, right? So, lesson learned. Okay, cool. So I just resonate wholeheartedly, and I'm just seeing so much of that. Like even now with like mine, like I can't sacrifice. Like I work from home, right? But if I had to go into the office, okay, cool. It's got to be Charlotte. It's got to be. That's where we're at.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. But in any event, you guys, again, thank you all for rocking with us for this, me for the past 2 years and us as a team for the past year. What is coming up next for me? I think I might have shared it earlier, but I can't remember because I did so many daggone takes of this. But I do want to be very candid, and if I repeat myself, forgive me. But what's next? Still working in my field. I'm going to continue to work in my field in the software industry, but I still will be doing podcasting. It just won't be about tech solely. I will talk about it because that's what I do right now. But I want to open up and share a little bit more about who I am holistically. Like I shared before, I love to travel. If you know me, you know I am a music festival girly. I even a big part of me loves finance. Like you guys might not know this on LinkedIn, but on Facebook, they know me about talking about personal finance. Like I talk about personal finance all the time. I like money. So I like to teach people how to make money because I didn't necessarily grow up with a whole lot of money. Like my mother was a nurse. She made do and I had a very good childhood. But she got sick. She had a brain aneurysm when I was graduating from 5th grade, and life immediately changed. So I have a different relationship with money than most people. I try to hold on to it. I try to grow it. I try to find creative ways to increase my my financial footprint in any way. So I love talking about that and just personal development. I'm really big into my faith. All those things that make Aileah who she is, I want you all to be able to go on that journey with me. And I don't want to get exhausted. This has become exhausting for me because even though I love helping people, some people don't deserve that help because of how they approach me and they can be very audacious. So I don't want to box myself or silo myself into that, but I do want to continue to be on this journey with you. Also, I've said it many times before, I love showing up and being in person. So I have partnered with some business partners / friends of mine, and we will start to host live mixers. They will be in the career development space. Some will be tech related. Some might be romantic related, but that is
call me
something
for those romantic ones, man.
Absolutely
I really
not.
want to show. I want to show another side of that. Come on,
Absolutely not. Will not be calling you for that as a
on.
married man. I'm not gonna call you that for that. These are for single people, and you are not single.
Yeah, I'll come in there and be like, "Hey, stop playing games. Be
Nah,
intentional.
nah.
Go walk up to
We're not doing
someone.
none of that. No married men will be in the mix. Ignore KJ.
That's fair. That's
But
okay. Sorry.
but yeah,
Sorry,
just
my
different
bad.
things. And of course, like the pod is still gonna the pod atmosphere is gonna continue to grow. Once we get to that space, I'll reveal a lot more to you all. But if you're down for the journey, continue to follow me on LinkedIn. And I will also put out my other platforms at a later time. KJ is still rocking with KJ's Corner, so follow him on LinkedIn and YouTube. Still connect with Dom. He's still very much present on LinkedIn. He's just doing his dad thing and trying to grow within his career as well. But as the gentleman I've already mentioned, this has been very impactful for all of us, and I thank you all. Can't thank you all enough for being the supporters of this journey. So thank you so much. And you all, for one last time, have a wonderful and blessed night.
Peace.
Thanks, everyone.